What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Bubba Speed's career mode as he tries to become the greatest racer of all time, going from Moto3 all the way up to MotoGP and winning a championship. Now, I want to specify one thing that I didn't say in the last episode, which is that this is going to be a long series. So we're going to try to win. I don't know about win every single trophy, like win every single class, but we'll see how things progress, and as for right now, we're going to be focusing on Moto3, but we definitely want to end it with a MotoGP World Championship. Meanwhile, I realized this didn't save me upgrading the engine, so we're going to go ahead and do that. This is the first qualifying in Argentina. Bubba Speed qualifying in 8th place. Sorry, that was qualifying too, so that was the official position. I'm trying to do something a little bit different with this episode because, of course, like I mentioned in the last one, this is actually the first time I've done a racing series, so I'm trying to get a few things, kind of decided. So for now, in this video, I'm going to be trying to do 2 races, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you prefer, 1 race per video or 2. This is going to be a bit longer, as you can probably tell. Anyway, okay, so we got a better start this time. I'm starting to work on starts a little bit more instead of just holding it down. I'm actually trying to time it a little bit, like having it almost all the way down, having the accelerator all the way down. The throttle, sorry, and then not quite all the way down, and then once the light goes green, go as hard as I can, pause, and then that seems to be working a little bit so far. So we'll see as time goes on if I can find something else to kind of get us a little bit of a boost on the start. Now, one thing I want to say to you guys, as of course, as you can see, we're in 10th right now, so we went from 8th to 10th, but there are some parts of this track where we should be able to make up some ground. But I want to say, this is the part of the calendar that I don't like at all, really. Like, I don't like this track. I don't like the next one, which is Circuit of the Americas. I don't know. There's just something about them that I don't really care for. This one is better than, say, Circuit of the Americas, the one in Austria. I think it's like Spielberg or something like that. It's definitely better than Aragon as well. So it's not the worst track, but it's like Qatar, this, and then Circuit of the Americas are, I would say, probably the worst tracks in a row. Like the worst trio of tracks in a row. Not the worst individually, but as a group, I would definitely say that they're some of the worst. And it might just be because, I've been playing MotoGP games for since MotoGP the original. So 2001, something like that. So I'm a bigger fan of the classic European tracks, even Motegi, and some of the tracks like that. So these that are new, they're not really my cup of tea. However, despite me being absolutely garbage on this track, we are first, and let's not forget, I didn't change the difficulty. I didn't change anything. We're just right now we're first. Bubba Speed is first. This dude's coming from Mobile, Alabama, and he's showing everybody what he can do. He's got a good gap. So basically, what we're gonna have to take a look at with this track is this first sector does not go well whenever I'm doing it. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It might be because the bike still doesn't turn very well, but I have a hard time in this first sector. That first turn is okay, able to stay up front a little bit. Here, we're also okay because we're able to cut in well enough and get a good drive coming out of it. This is a difficult turn because you have to time it. It's not really like impossible, but you have to time it right, and if you don't, you're going to go flying straight into the dirt because there's really no runoff. But yeah, so this is... It's a tough track unless you're trying to cheese, and you'll notice me cheesing a bit in this race and the next one because, of course, I'm doing commentary, after having done the races already, just because I need to focus a lot when I'm playing these games, and I don't, a lot of times I record late at night, so it makes things easier for me to do commentary the next day. But anyway, you'll be noticing that in a lot of the tracks that I don't like and that I don't respect, I won't be too worried about doing the right lines and being clean and stuff like that. Like right here, I almost crashed there too. But at the same time, there's plenty of runoff. Why not use it? I know it's not great to look at, but I just hate these tracks. This is a part that I actually like. This little chicane right here, I like this one a lot. Ran wide here. Actually cost a little bit of time. Touching the grass is never a good thing. But that's actually a good little part. This is the part of the track that I do like. It is the last sector, and it's where we gain most of our ground, I would say. This is the next to last turn, and I really struggle with it. It seems like to be these double apex turns that kind of give me the hardest time, especially when there's a turn right after it, because I always end up being out of position. And Bubba did do a good job there of getting it through it, no problem. And that is the sector where we gain the most ground. You'll see consistently, we're up by about a second right now, and by the end of this sector, we'll probably be only up front by, I don't know, 2 or 3 tenths, maybe a little bit more, but definitely not by much. So I mean, a lot of these early tracks, except for Qatar, because I do know Qatar really well, are kind of just kind of meh. I don't have any positive memories about them, so I don't really have anything nice to say about them. But as time goes on, of course, I do get better at them. See, like I said, after the first sector, we're only up by 0.3 of a second. So there are certain parts, especially like this little spot right here, where our bike is still trash. So in top speed, we're still going to get destroyed. But the good thing is, once we get to tracks like Jerez and some of the European tracks, then we shouldn't have any issues with that. We'll have to be focusing more on acceleration and things of that nature. Anyway, so right now we're in the middle of a battle for first. Canet and Canet is the guy we just passed. Who was the other one? All right, and Mazia, depending on where he's from, that's how you pronounce it. So let's just call him Mazia. So we're in a battle right now, but you'll see, like right here, this is where we start to gain. Oh wow, yeah, that's right, I fucked up here. Unfortunate, but no time lost. We probably would have been up by more, but we didn't get a penalty, which is the important thing. Bubba. Going to the hard part. This is just a hard turn for me. But I mean, it'd be pretty insane to get a win on one of my least favorite tracks this early on, with the bike having this many issues. And considering how hard I found the game when I was playing it months ago on the same difficulty, same settings and everything, I'm actually pretty surprised that I'm doing this well. Bubba's up there right now. If he wins this race, then he might be top of the championship. I don't know exactly where some of his rivals are. Haven't seen Arbolino. Haven't seen some of those guys around here. But the important thing really is that we have a bit of distance between us and the guys behind us here. Like, I don't know exactly what that means. I guess that means that, the gap didn't change at all. But I mean, realistically, they'll be on our ass very soon. Here, if we can time it right, there you go. That's actually better, because we're gonna have I guess we just run a little bit wide, but still, definitely better. As time goes on, we do get better. But as you can see in the bottom corner, the tire wear is starting to be noticeable, and you might not be able to see it very much on screen, but when you're playing the game, you can feel it a lot, and that's something that I kind of like. That I have differing opinions on it, because I feel like it's good that the tire wear is noticeable, but I just feel like it doesn't make that much sense for it to be that noticeable when I still have over half of my tire wear. I'm not even halfway through it, so I don't know exactly why it's so noticeable so fast, but it's definitely noticeable. And I don't know, like I said, it's hard to say whether it's a positive or a negative. This time, try to cut it in a bit better following the line, but when it comes to coming out of the turn, we just can't really get it. However, because the finishing line is right there, so there is no chance of them having the opportunity to gain on us using top speed, like say on Qatar or Mugello, tracks like that. We do have the chance of, if we're in the middle of a battle, as long as we're ahead coming out of the last turn, we should be able to get the win. So fair play there. This is, like I said, a tough part, but so far so good. I was honestly playing this, I was shocked. I was completely shocked, because there's really no reason why I should be winning this race. Okay, speaking of the devil, Arbolino going into 13th, so I think he did really, really well in the first one. What was it? We were battling for 4th. We finished 4th, so who was it? Anshu that passed us? I think him and Arbolino are the guys we were fighting with the most in the last race, but that's interesting. Final lap, so we have going into turn 5, we do have a pretty decent gap. La Porta gets past Canet. but we have a decent gap here. The hard part of the track for us is behind us now. Yeah, so we have almost a second and a half advantage over. Oh, ran really, really wide there. Don't choke. Don't choke, Bubba. Don't choke, because they're on our ass. Make no mistake about it. They're still right there. All it takes is 1 or 2 mistakes, and they're on our ass. Alright, see, ran a little bit wide again, but this time we save it, no problem. Set ourselves up well for this turn where you don't have to brake, you don't have to let off the gas, nothing. You just go as hard as you can. I tend to let off just like for a split second because it helps me push out of the turn and stuff like that. So it just kind of feels like it helps. And coming into the next to last turn, if we don't blow it here, then we should be good. Coming out of it, we came out fine. Last turn, and we're good. And that's a W. No penalties. And look at that group right there. Everybody was all bunched up, and we had no problems. Thankfully, we are officially the first time ever I think this is the first time I've ever won on this track in any game. And I've been playing. Let's see. I can't remember what year this was added to the calendar, but I think it's my first win ever on it. Meanwhile, Bubba Speed is officially first. First win of the season, and he's first in points. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's a good start, especially considering this team was expecting us to, was basically only expecting 25th or something like that, 25th position. Now, in Austin, Texas, obviously Bubba's home race, qualified 8th once again. So 8th seems to be like a pretty common position for him to qualify in. And this is a track that I struggle with a bit. It's not one of my. It's not Aragon. I hate Aragon so much. And like I said, guys, see, like I'm starting to get better starts. It wasn't a great start, but we didn't lose any positions this time. We actually gained one, so that's a good thing. But yeah, Aragon is probably my worst. Is probably my least favorite track on the calendar. But this one, I don't know. Like it's fast, but it just feels like it's very modern. And and of course it is a modern track, but you can definitely tell way too much that it is modern. Like there's kind of just bullshit all around it. Like I don't like this part of the track at all. This part is just pure garbage in my opinion. Like this turn right here, and then of course we're gonna have a little dink on the left, which is an issue because it's not easy, especially with shit like this. And then this right hand turn, because I always come out of that left very, very badly. It sets me up terribly for this turn, so it's just an infinite going wide for me. It's just, I'm always out of position, and it really, really pisses me off. Because yeah, later on, once you have a better bike, you can do better. But when you have this shit, you really can't. Here we almost crash out Mazia. Thankfully, we stay on our bike, because basically, if we crash, then it's gonna be really, really, really hard for us to get back up here, because there's a lot of people, a lot of banging into people, and that's something we want to avoid as much as possible, because damage. Now I don't know if it's actually in there. I've tried to find it, but I can't see anything where it says like damage from crashing and stuff like that. I know it used to be a thing, but every time I crash, it feels like the bike is worse. It might just be like a reverse placebo effect or something, but I can feel it, and I don't like it at all. Here we ran wide because I actually forgot how this track was. Like I forgot about this little part. I was thinking that not this turn, but the next one was earlier, so fucked up. And that's also a turn that I really, really have trouble with. But here, this is where we're gonna be making up pretty much all of our ground. I mean, these are this is like, yeah, basically just a long ass right turn divided into 2 different apexes, or 3 different apexes, and it sets us up for here where we're gonna go really, really wide this time, but plenty of space to cut in. And this last turn is pretty trash in my opinion, but you have to take into consideration that if it's not a classic track, I'm gonna struggle a lot to really do the right thing in terms of racing lines and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Anyway, after the first lap, we gained 2 positions, so that's not bad, especially because like I said, it's a track that I don't like, and most importantly, it's a track where top speed is very, very important. So it's a track where we should be struggling. Anyway, we get past this person is sick. We got past Anchu. We also get past Binder. So we're on our way to that top 5. I feel like a top 5 finish would be more than respectable. I don't know. A win is going to be pretty difficult here because watch, like once up, see, there's a penalty right there. That sucks. A plus 2.51 could be really bad for us. Really bad because more than likely we're going to be bunched up with a bunch of people at the end. That's just kind of how these things go. If you don't pull away, then you're more than likely going to have a lot of battles going on, or basically on your ass or right in front of you. So it gets pretty tough. This time we actually Bubba actually nails the turn. That's a very difficult hairpin, and this time we got it. See how we can do coming into this, because see, they have a 1 second, they're 1 second ahead of us, at least third place is, or fourth place, sorry, and we're not going to gain any ground here. I mean, just look how fast they catch up on us, and we always have to brake a little bit later because, of course, we have lower top speed, but then we end up doing this shit because our bike can't turn. I know I'm like a broken record complaining, but it's just kind of one of the issues that are in this game, where yeah, it's better than rider experience, but at the same time you already start off with an inferior vehicle. It only gets worse if you have to really develop your bike, especially because once you do the second development, once you get the second development done, it takes 60 development points to get the third. So it takes a lot of grinding, and it takes a few weekends before you can actually start to have decent stats for even one of these shit bikes. Anyway, we're all over Antonelli. Run wide again. I'm going to be doing that pretty much every lap. Just keep that in mind. It's like, as I said, I don't respect the tracks, and of course they probably don't respect me either. So fair enough. But it's mostly because I always make mistakes, and instead of restarting and trying to make everything perfect, I prefer to take my lumps, learn the tracks as I go, and if I make a mistake, you're going to see it, and you can roast me for it as much as you want. It's all fair play to you guys. This first turn, it's tough because if you don't nail it, then you're going to be setting yourself really wide, and you're going to have a hard time in the following turns, which, like I've mentioned before, are pretty difficult because it seems like you can go faster than you actually can. Like right here, you get to the point where you feel like you can pretty much accelerate, at least softly, all the way through, but you really can't. And if you don't nail it, then you're setting yourself up for basically a huge struggle over the next 3 or 4 turns. Like right here, it's just really difficult. I struggle with it every time I race here. Sometimes I can win, sometimes I can't. If you want to cheese, then you can definitely cheese on it. It's a track that really favors cheaters, I guess you could say. I'll take advantage of some runoff, but I'm not gonna go cutting through chicanes and stuff like that. That's just not me. This time we use Suzuki to kind of push ourselves back on the right line. No shame in doing that every once in a while. Trying to draft them, but look at this. Like we're right behind them, so we should be drafting them. We're in every once in a while in perfect position. And yet, we're not losing any ground, but we're not gaining any ground either, which you would be expecting. On the brakes, ran right wide again. We bumped into him, so that kind of helped us out a little bit. Suzuki at this point must be kind of feeling like a prison bitch. He just gets whacked every time we get close. Luckily, no penalty was given there. We did better that time, so that's positive. If I can start learning that a little bit more. But this is the part right here. I don't know. I just can't get it. Really can't get it. And every time I end up losing 2 or 3 positions. But thankfully, right after it, we have this cheese-ass turn right here where they always hit the brakes. You can see they hit the brakes. But, no fear for Bubba Speed. We're just going to go as hard as he fucking can. Going into the last sector. Only one more turn, and then we are officially in the last lap. 7th place isn't bad. Like I said, I would like to have a top 5. Just because, of course, it's Bubba's home track. But realistically, 7th, considering how poorly this is going, probably wouldn't be too bad. But as long as we don't crash, we should be getting some points at least. So that's a good thing. Okay, cutting it in a bit closer. Ooh, almost crashed out. Sorry for guys. I hope you weren't wearing headphones. Almost crashed out there. That, like I said, that would have been game over because there's no way in hell we're getting points if we crash there. Ramirez has to be worried right now. Our tires, especially our rear tire, is pretty fucked. Like I said, you can't really tell but you can really feel it. And even though I guess you can kind of technically tell, like, look how much it's sliding out compared to before. But you can really feel it. You just, it's harder for you to get out of turns, harder for you to get on the gas. You can just really feel the difference. And like I said, that's good for simulation points of view, but I would like it to be a bit more, I don't know, like it would take a bit longer. But I guess, yeah, technically, if you're thinking about it, like, maybe the percentages are a bit different because I'm doing only 25% of the actual race, then yeah, I guess that would make sense. But regardless, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with the system. Now, against Ramirez, who has given us some problems in the past 2 races, really, apart from this one. He's always been just kind of an issue, whether it's qualifying or racing. He's always around us. But if we can get past him and stay ahead of him, then there's a chance that we can at least get 7th. Hopefully we don't get any more penalties, because that's probably the biggest issue. Cutting it here. Trying to keep it safe and then exploit the last sector where we're really fast. Now you can really see the back tire starting to struggle a lot. I mean, let's look at this one too. Like, no turning. And as soon as you try to get on the gas to try to push yourself out of the corner, you just go sliding everywhere. So Suzuki gets past us, Ramirez is past us, and we don't really have a lot of tires left to go through this last part. We can get past Ramirez. Okay, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. If we can get a good drive out of this last turn. But it gave us a penalty, a huge penalty. I didn't even realize this when I was doing it. That was 0.8 of a second. I thought it was less, but it gave us a huge penalty, and that probably, there you go. Went from, so we finished 7th, but it pushed us all the way back to 10th. That sucks. I mean, at least we got past the race objective for the team, but, you know, we lost quite a few points, and now we're pretty far back in the standings. So that's definitely disappointing. We're 14 points back. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of this format. You know, 2 races in a single video. Is that better than 1 race in a single video? And do you think I should make the races shorter? Instead of being 5 laps, you know, on average, 3 laps, do you think that would maybe make it more enjoyable for you guys? Maybe make it easier to do multiple races in a video? Let me know all these things in the comments, because like I said earlier, this is my first time doing a racing series, so I want to kind of get everything going. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.